What's on your plate, Sam Leareng?
Ladies and gentlemen, what was on your plate today? And no, I'm not talking about the delightful meals that we get to enjoy at regular meetings at forum. There's an argument that we need to produce more food in the world. And you're probably wondering why. Increasing population, global population, now rising towards 9 billion people. Global warming, which we've had can be caused by carbon dioxide. Increasing temperatures, of course, and droughts as we have experienced in this part of the world, lately in Southern Africa, are all pushing for us to evaluate ways of finding a way of growing what we put on our plate. And that means that we have to radically alter our food landscape. That is what we eat, where it's made, how we pay for it, and of course the choices we make. And that of course goes to whether you want organic food, or you want non-organic food, GMO food, but we'll talk about that. So what does that mean essentially? It means that we have to reinvent our global food system to adapt to changing circumstances as we find them on our planet. So you're probably wondering, where does that take us? What does that mean for what I had on my plate today? And I'd like to start by saying that imagine that you had a burger today, or right now when we're in recess. You just had a scrumptious burger that you enjoyed. And of course for now you know where the meat came from. You know where the bun that was used for the burger comes from. And you know where the tomato and the lettuce came from. What about in the future? What would be our options if we had to reinvent our food system completely? And of course, scientists always have a plan, as we've had with Integrate. They always have a plan. And they're saying, well, we have a solution. And I'll go back to the burger analogy. Imagine you were going to have a burger in 20 years' time, 25 to 30 years' time. And you took a bite of that burger, that scrumptious burger. And what they did not tell you was that that burger was made of meat that came from the lab-grown meat. Well, that is one of the examples that scientists have proposed. They are saying we can already make meat. And I am here to tell you today that some of it is in circulation for trial purposes. Some of our bigger chain restaurants are already trying that. If you go to the US, for example, that is where the market is big. Reason being that there is also pressure from those that are against animal cruelty or are calling for mass production of animals for food purposes to be scaled down. So these companies are trying meat and are growing meat from stem cells that also come from animals. But what they do is they grow them in the lab such that they form muscle mass, and that becomes your meat in your burger. Sounds delicious, don't you think? That burger that you're eating also has lettuce and tomato, like I said. And where does your lettuce and your tomato come from? They come from a warehouse somewhere in Kenya or somewhere in Namibia, because it was grown in a hydroponic system. And if not, it comes from the very driest of places, from Botswana. But of course it's GMO made. It can withstand the driest of conditions. What about the wheat that makes the bun? Well, that comes from very ancient wheat that has now been commercialized because it can withstand the toughest of conditions as well. And that sits on your plate. 20 to 30 years from now, from in your scrumptious burger that you will delightfully enjoy. I know what you're probably thinking right now. That doesn't sound very certain. Sounds like science fiction. Right? It raises a lot of question marks. The question is, would you eat that burger? And I know some of you will give many reasons. One of them being the ethical choices that we have to make. What are the concerns with GMO food? We've already had that discussion in the world. Some are for GMO food, some are not for GMO food. But what do we do in terms of droughts, in terms of climate change? How do we address that situation? Do our ethical concerns override the health needs of the growing population in the world? Is there an urgency to be met that outweighs our ethical concerns? And that question I leave with you today, because it is not the subject of my discussion, but the point of this speech today is to make you aware of the choices that we have going forward. What will be on your plate? Will you accept what is on your plate for the future as a compromise? Will you keep an open mind for the burger that will sit in front of you with all of its components from different sources? And maybe, just maybe, as you keep an open mind and make a compromise, will you have a greater respect for Mother Nature? Mr. Toastmaster.